Oh, center stage. Is that when I move it?
Oh, yeah.
Whoa!
Ooh.
Look at that. I got the camera crew over here helping me out. I don't like to
If you're
stay on
listening,
my mark.
Gary has figured out some
Camera effects.
on this website that we use where it follows him. Do you ever, Gary, you're not really on Instagram, but Chris, maybe do you ever see comics like where they're using that effect in Premiere, but like they're filming it wide, but of course a phone is flipped. It's the jerkiest kind of follow. Like, it's just like
this thing is.
No, that one's kind of okay that you're doing, but like just the one that people use, it's like, oh, it's a little handheld effect, and then you're like, no, that doesn't look.
No, that's just
it's a little inside baseball for video production.
You had a little camera that did that though. Is that the same? Like it literally moved. Like this thing is my iPhone is following me.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so the camera was like what you're doing. What I'm talking about is in post. This is the nerdiest beginning of the episode ever.
This is great. People are loving this.
This is pull people in.
This is really grabbing people. There's an effect in Premiere that you guys are going to love.
Chris, how was the DC vacation?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Sorry, guys. I have to pause for a second. I'm in my office, and I thought something smells weird here, and I just looked. There are 2 giant dog turds just sitting on my rug right now, and I'm going to go grab some tissue and flush that.
Okay.
What? Why do people have pets? I don't get it.
Here, I'll put this. I'll put this in post. So let me take a picture or a little video. Okay, this is the angle I've got, and there they are. Look at that.
Oh gosh, I don't. I'm sure there's people that say the same thing about kids. I've got 4 children, but
why do people have kids?
Why do people have pets?
Well, kids eventually stop doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You can. I guess you could train dogs too, but
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, so a lot of walking, amazing fireworks,
the
great
monuments
experience.
were bigger than I thought. Like the Lincoln Memorial was huge. It was way bigger than I thought it would be. I don't know what I was expecting.
Yeah, it is.
I'm like, holy crap, this is a huge building. So that was cool, just getting to kind of see all that stuff. The botanical garden was awesome. The zoo was awesome. The zoo was like small, but it had really cool exhibits and stuff, and it was just fun to be with family, honestly.
Tour the White House?
We did not tour the White House. We didn't get our request in early.
Can you even tour the White House?
I think we were supposed to.
The whole cocaine investigation's over, so.
Oh yeah.
When I was a kid, I toured the White House, but I kind of thought that was done. I didn't think you could do that anymore.
Well, no, we reached out to our congressman or whatever representative, and
he couldn't pull any strings.
Well, you're supposed to like let him know within 3 months or something like that. I forget what it is, but got to give him a little time.
About 2 days in advance. So.
Exactly. Yeah, we were leaving that Friday, so.
If you guys don't know, Chris historically is not great at vacation. Not that you take bad vacations. I think you take good vacations.
Yeah.
You just get to the middle of the year and you're like, you know what? We haven't had a vacation this year, and then you leave the next day.
It's true.
Hey, the next 8 days are free.
Yeah, we
Let's
don't.
Go.
We don't. It seems like we don't go very often, and then when we do, it's just like, you know what? It makes the most sense if we leave next week. Let's just go.
Yeah, like what if we took 7? That would be great.
Not a lot of anticipation.
I know.
What are you guys doing this summer?
Well, the anticipation is, when are we going to do it?
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, it could be any minute.
We have been talking about a DC trip for months.
Your kids just wake up and like, I wonder if I'm going on vacation today.
I wonder if we're leaving this afternoon.
They always have a half-packed suitcase.
Oh yeah, always
at their bedside.
When your girls got their job at Chick-fil-A, they're just like, okay, just let you know at any point I might be gone.
Yeah. Well, that's the weird thing is now my schedule is super flexible, but we're like planning around my 16-year-old daughter's schedules.
Oh yeah, they're at least they're 16. My 4-year-old, like we're looking at vacation. Like Di and I both being self-employed. Like Luna's starting school, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
this now you got to work around this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan of.
No.
Why do people have kids?
Why do they have
Exactly.
kids?
Yep.
Just if you're gonna have kids, homeschool them.
So your spouse can't work and bring
Yeah.
any income into the family, and
Exactly.
then they're tied up.
Eat.
Microwave some breakfast.
It looks like in my neighborhood they're picking up the limbs.
Oh,
Oh.
If you don't know, here in Tulsa we had a massive thunderstorm,
Big time windstorm.
big windstorm, and knocked out power over. I don't know. Would you say half the city, most of the city,
A lot of the city.
for a while? We were out for 8 days, no power. Lived in a hotel for 8 days, and
Yeah.
lots of trees down, and so had to get.
We lost it for a day and a half, I think. So
Yeah.
we didn't do too bad.
Gary didn't lose it at all.
never lost it.
Never lost it. Gary never lost it.
And me and Chris live pretty close together.
Yeah,
so
we're like a mile
I'm
away from it.
surprised.
2 miles maybe.
Well, even like whenever the power came back on, our neighbor across the street, he had it days before we did.
Really?
Oh man.
Oh, so this weekend. So last week, so got a little promotion in my home club. I'm a feature comic now, which is the middle,
Yes.
which is more money and more time. I get to do 30 minutes instead of like just hosting. I don't have to do the announcements. It's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think if you listen to one of our last podcasts, we talked to Mason, who co-owns the club, and we talked about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was great. They were great shows. It was a last-minute thing. The feature that was booked got sick, couldn't do it. And it was a Monday. It was last Monday. And Mason was like, you know anyone to be good with this guy? I didn't specifically think I'd be great with him. He's kind of just his style of comedy is different than mine. He's pretty dirty too. And I was like, yeah, these are the guys I think would be really good. And then at the end, Mason was like, you want to do it? And I was just like, I could do it, which ended up being awesome. But well, so the crowds were great. The shows were really full. None of them were sold out, but they were all full. So we did 6 shows. And the second night, this lady comes up to me, pretty inebriated. For just say that for the kids, say it that way. And the first thing she said to me was, do you cut your hair like that intentionally? Very, very kind. Great introduction. And I said, yes. And then she asked me, she said, do you drink? And I said, no, I don't really drink. And she goes, that's good, because my husband is, he's got himself in trouble and he's in rehab. And then she took a gigantic drink of her drink.
Right. Yeah.
And so we had that exchange, and it was a pretty, it was unique, what with one person being completely sober and the other one not. Anyway, It was a funny exchange. The next night, I just randomly told that story, and I kind of gave it a punchline like, I think you should go visit your husband and maybe you stay with him for a while.
She was there.
He was there.
Wow.
She came back to the show.
Oh my God.
Did she approach you again?
She did. So 2 things happened. One is when I was telling the story, there was this group of people. When you're on stage at the Looney Bin, you cannot see past the front row. And there was people in the back. They were just like talking about it or whatever. I was like, what? So I had a little interaction with them. And they're like, inside joke. And it was like, okay. And so it was them. It was them. And I didn't realize it then. But then when I'm meeting people outside in the lobby, her and her friends walk up, and I was like, what? And she was gone again. At one point I said, what are you drinking now? And she said a virgin bourbon. Like, what? Okay. And then her friend, who was very kind, I mean, she was kind too, but her friend who was kind and very much there, not inebriated, gentleman was like, he just threw me a shirt, and it's this shirt, Hank's Hamburgers.
Hey,
He owns this thing called Hank's Hamburgers in
get
Tulsa.
out of here. I love Hank's. Me and
Nice.
Gary used to go to Hank's quite regularly there for a
Yeah.
season in our life.
Is that
Yeah.
down 11th or Admiral?
Yeah, or
Admiral.
Sheridan, isn't that right?
Is the address on the shirt there?
And so shout out to Hank's and shout out to that.
So Hank's just walking around, or do you take the shirt off his back and give it to you?
No, he came back came to the show again, brought me a shirt the second time.
Awesome.
That's very nice. That's
Yeah, I think her name was Vicky. I think that's what her name was. So
yeah. Well,
We've got to
that
film a
maybe you
podcast
shouldn't
at
gossip
Hank's.
about people.
Hank.
Maybe you
Yeah,
shouldn't
speaking
talk
of
bad
gossip.
about people. Maybe you shouldn't gossip about people in your show.
Oh, look at that. Full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I guess it did make it look pretty bad. Ooh, that's going to be hard being a comic. Not making fun of people. Well, maybe I got to get out of the business.
Punch up.
Punch up, that's right. But I will say, she immediately goes, I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Granted, she was in a different state of mind, but
Yeah.
it worked out okay. Yeah. And then the next night, I just told the first story and then how she was there. So it just kept getting longer as the weekend progressed. And now it's on the podcast.
That's
Just
funny.
keeps going.
Just keeps going. All right. Well, we got a fun episode today. We're back. We're all back together. We've been traveling or doing shows or been busy all individually. So we've had some unique episodes with different guests. Guys, this is our 40th episode, in case you didn't know that.
Wow.
Well, no, this will be our 41st episode.
41.
Yeah. And so today we are going to have an episode. We're going to talk about what's been going on, where we're headed. It's the middle of the summer. We haven't had a lot of episodes recently where we're really sharing like about my and Chris's journey in comedy. And so we're going to talk about that, where we're at, and then also give you a little update on where old Gary's headed next week. I'll give you a hint. It's far away.
Yeah.
All right.
Overseas.
Kick us off, Adam.
Okay, so it's been a hot minute since we've all been together, and we started this podcast to give you an update, or just so you can follow along with Chris and my journey. And so because we haven't really talked about that too much, we thought we'd give you an old State of the Union, get political. Listen, not right wing, not left wing,
Just right down the middle.
Just
right down the middle. Neutral. What's the neutral? What is a neutral?
Switzerland.
Switzerland.
Going
Yeah.
Swiss.
Yeah, just right down the middle. And kind of tell you where what's been going on this summer and where we're headed. But hey, Chris,
Yeah.
let me start with you.
yeah.
So last we checked in. You and I went to North Dakota. I got a major sinus infection and could barely perform. But we killed it.
It was great. Killed
It
it.
was great.
That
Shout
was
out
wonderful.
to our friend Jason Winnis for having us out up there.
It's awesome.
What have you done since then?
Nothing. Absolutely
Okay.
nothing. I've just been
Thanks for joining the pod. It's been great.
sitting here wallowing in self-pity
Okay.
and self-loathing.
People love that on the
Yeah.
podcast.
It's been hard to be
Frustrating.
around you, quite honestly.
Yeah, Gary and I hung out last night. We were like, should we invite Chris? And we're just like,
No.
I don't want that
do
kind
we
of
want to be
energy.
down? Do you want to have to bring someone up consistently?
Yeah, not far off. No, it's been, there's a lot to be thankful for. There's a lot to be thankful for.
You're being serious. You're kind of down.
Yeah.
Diamond Dogs Unite.
Oh, Chris doesn't know that reference, do you?
I don't know what you're talking about. What is Diamond?
You didn't watch Ted Lasso, did you?
Chris, if you need to get cheered up, just start scrubbing through Ted Lasso.
I have watched the first 2 seasons. I've not seen the 3rd season.
Oh, Diamond Dogs is part of it.
Yeah, I remember Diamond Dogs now. I just hadn't seen it in a while.
Really stuck with you. Okay.
No, there's a lot to be thankful for. There's just a lot of moving parts happening in my life right now it's new and a little scary and all that kind of stuff. So,
I mean, one thing that's very consistent in your life, you are posting clips of your characters all the time.
yeah. Yeah.
You've been doing it for a long. How long have you been doing this? Over a year?
Yeah, we started was it the end of January, the very beginning of February of 2022?
A year and a half.
So it's been a year and a half. Yeah.
Are you getting tired of it?
You know what I'm feeling? I want to introduce new characters.
Yeah, I want that too.
I think that's what I feel is that, I feel like I'm just struggling to take ground. I feel like there's so many more things even with the business that I'm trying to launch or do, and just even do cameos off of the Cameo app and do them on our own website, and which would be a huge win for us financially. So there's some of that stuff, and then just honestly, Instagram is like all these new threads and broadcast channel, and like there's all.
Did you get on Threads?
I did, but it's just like I feel like there's just constantly new things to learn, and like so I'm kind of struggling to keep up with like, oh, there's all these opportunities for new growth, and I'm just like my kids are on Pinterest all the time, like I'm like, oh, Pinterest is basically like TikTok. There's all kinds of funny videos. I should be posting on Pinterest. Like, there's just so many different opportunities that it's like, what do I need to actually be working on? So that can feel a little disorienting or a little overwhelming. And then on top of that, we've been in this process of trying to buy a house and this job or this house search. And then
you've been looking for a house for a long time.
We had to wait until the spring of this year to buy a house, just because the way our finances, obviously when we start a new business, they're not going to lend us money until we kind of show what we're making. And so we had to wait. It's just been a long wait. And then it's been like kind of feeling like at every turn, it's been harder than we thought it was going to be. And so that just can be demoralizing.
It is also, is this part of it? It is also interesting to deal with things like that and to also be self-employed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because when you just have a job, it's sort of like, well, that's sort of in motion. And if I need to take time off or whatever, or talk to my boss about like, I got to deal with this. Like even when we had the storm and we were out for a week, like I couldn't, like the four of us were in a hotel room all week.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't. It was hard to work, and I was just like, this would be so much easier if I had a job.
Having a steady income too makes budgeting so much easier. You're like, okay, I know, this is my salary. This is what I can afford, whatever. I mean, we're basing, our budget off of last year, or like this year's going well. We're doing really well, better than last year. But you're like, well, how long is that going to last?
Yeah.
And like now you're seeing like, oh, Instagram's dipping a little bit. Okay, is it going to continue to dip, or do we just need to like turn the knobs a little bit and we'll get it going again? Or does that not happen? Or so it's like when you start adding in like all these commitments to, buy a house or whatever, that's more than what you're used to paying, considerably more. It just can be.
Give us a number. Tell us exactly the amount so we can all know. Yeah. And one thing I'm so proud of you for doing that I don't know if I could do is you are really good with your money. You guys are both better with your money than I am. I'm good at making money. You guys are good at saving money. But you have been in a small house with all six of you for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And like, oh man,
Mm-hmm.
I've had an office like offsite for a long time, and you're just like, you don't even have a dedicated space in your house as an office.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I kind of do, but I don't really use it. I've got a spot in our bedroom that has a desk that I could use, but I end up using the kitchen table more than anything. But,
Guys, this is getting a little too sad.
This is getting.
I was about to say, this is if our president gave a State of the Union like this, I'd be like, no, thank you.
Wow.
Not that I ever watched it. Like, I watched the State of the Union every year.
You were just glued to it, taking notes. Oh, I can't believe you said that. Wow.
So, but
writing down rebuttals.
I feel like it is just that, like, what it's like to be a business owner, and there are no guarantees, and you're just going, how do I project? How do I sign my name on a dotted line, committing to paying this payment for 30 years? And you're like, I don't know. I mean, this whole thing I could get canceled. I mean, there's just all those things, and I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, I feel like the concept has been proven to a certain degree, because, for the last year and a half, and still have great comments and still get good views and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not sitting here thinking, well, it's been a good run. But whenever you're like committing to large amounts of money, it just kind of gets more real. And we have outs. That's the other thing. It's like we have savings and all that kind of stuff. So it's not like I'm sitting here thinking we're going to go bankrupt, but it just gives you pause to go like, let me really make sure that this is a wise decision. And not just because we're really itching to get out of this house. Cause we've been in a smaller house for a few years now, or 2.5 years. So,
this is the most real podcast episode that we have ever done. But I think it'll be good. I mean, there's a lot of people listen. They're self-employed, or even if you're not self-employed, like making a big jump like that is a big deal.
Yeah.
I always find, like, after making a big decision, a big decision like that, you feel so confident about it, and then after you do it, there's like the buyer's remorse.
Oh yeah. Well,
going, oh shoot, is this the right thing?
It's been like this for me. Like right when we first were talking about doing it.
For listeners, Chris just did a series of waves with his hand, up and down, up and down.
There we go. It was when I was just full of confidence of just like, I see all this growth potential with our business, and I still do. And, I'm just like, it's a lot more than we've ever spent on a house before, like payment wise, all that kind of stuff. You're just like, but we're doing better than we've ever done before. I'm just super confident. And then it's like, I start seeing the numbers on paper, like really like hard numbers, and like, okay, wow. It's kind of shaking me a little bit. I'm just like, oh yeah,
no, we can't tell.
I've been pretty confident that everything I'm doing is just going to continue to grow. And it's like, how many people have gotten themselves into really bad,
this has never happened,
financial places just from all this like positive projections of how the future is going to go.
Yeah.
So,
you think you should
what I
take
think
that
to do is just
car back?
Say what?
That you just bought? The brand new car?
Yeah. Like 2008.
Did you need a Tesla? It doesn't make a lot of sense having 6 people in your family.
What I think to do is just go, I just like budget for what we've done this year. And, if it makes sense with what we're currently making, then I feel like, keep going. So that's all I know to do right now. But if you guys have more wisdom, please lay it on me.
No, I think stop worrying about things you can't control.
Yeah.
You can't control Instagram and TikTok and how they distribute your stuff in front of people, but it's just, I think too, it's just natural to go, I'm taking a risk. And the fear of once you've actually, so like we go camping up in the Tetons, and there's this place called Phelps Lake. There's this like 25-foot rock that you can jump into the lake from. And we, the first time I ever did it, it's really scary because you're standing at the edge and it looks really far. But then when you go and jump, you immediately regret it because you are in the air for what feels like forever.
Yeah.
But then you finally hit the water, and it was really fun.
Yeah.
So this year was the third time we've been out there, and I did it, and I just ran up to, I didn't even look.
Yeah.
And it was really exciting. But to compare it the first time of going, I took the risk the first time.
Yeah.
And also so my kids would do it, and I'm a cool dad.
Yeah.
You kind of immediately regret it, and the water is freezing.
It's a snow melt.
But I think the more you take, depending on where you're putting your trust in all of this as well,
Right.
the more ground you'll take. Because I don't think you're putting your trust in yourself, and you're putting in God
ultimately,
to lead you and stuff. So
absolutely.
And Mark Zuckerberg.
And Mark.
Mark,
just really
Mark
making Instagram everything we think it could be.
And the Chinese government. Who runs TikTok?
I don't know.
We just think it's China. Is that?
Well, they have their tentacles in it, so technically they could
pulling the strings.
Shut it down and be like, give us all your information.
China's had a big influence on our life in the last few years.
That's true.
Okay.
Right, I didn't know if you were wanting to make a political statement there, or if you were just.
We're just talking about
that. We're stepping out of neutral.
No, that's really good. That's really good, Gary, because I that's exactly what I feel. I feel like these numbers are different than I've ever experienced before. And so I just like stop. It kind of hits me sometimes, like, wait, this is what my house payment would be. Like, oh my gosh, like that makes me nervous. But then you also have to go like, I'm making more money than I've ever made before too. And so I think it is just, it's just scary. And it's like recalibrating maybe to a new, I don't know, a new set of numbers. And it's just kind of scary.
Well, I think it's interesting. Like, I mean, you and I, we left our jobs a couple of years ago, I think 2.5 years ago for you and a year and a half ago for me. And it's kind of like what Gary was saying at the beginning. You're all excited whenever you make the decision.
Mm-hmm.
I was. Mm-hmm. I knew it was the right decision. I had a lot of, it just felt right. And I had a lot of input from wise people. You guys were on board. You thought it was a good decision. My wife. Then you get out and it's just like Monday morning, you're just like, oh, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, when I look back on the last year and a half, I see all these moments where it's just like, oh man, this is amazing how like we were provided for, or like what I got to do. I mean, like working for me in comedy, working on the page finders. And yet still like now I'm at this point and we kind of have another transition coming up. And I'm just like, ooh, what's going to happen? But when I look back, I think, well, it always worked out.
Mm-hmm.
Like even in those moments that were scary, I mean, if I could go back and tell that Adam, like, it's going to be fine. You'll be fine. You know, but I'm sure you would feel the same way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You look back at those moments.
I think it's not for me like this fear that, like, I don't feel like we're being frivolous or we're not being extravagant. I feel like we're trying to do what we think our family needs. And I feel like I'm not worried that I'm going to go bankrupt or that I'll have no way of making payments. You know, we have once we buy this house, then we will turn this house into a rental. So it's like, well, a lot of equity in both of our rentals. So like, I feel like there's outs where if I'm getting in a situation where like, holy crap, I can't keep up with this payment. We're going to need to, you know, make some changes or whatever. I think that's more what I'm worried about, of just like, am I just taking my family down another path that everyone gets all excited and then 2 years from now we're just like, oh, we can't, this is not sustainable.
Yeah.
The American way.
Right, exactly. So I just want to be wise, and I want to make sustainable decisions. And
as long as you got it on an arm, right? Like an adjustable rate mortgage. Like, yeah, so that's not going to go up.
It's
that gives you time to
interest
sort
only.
out.
It's an interest only loan. So
oh yeah, that keeps the payment low.
I don't know why more people aren't doing it.
I don't know either.
It's on an arm. Honestly, an arm might not be bad with the market right now, but yeah, it's just interest rates are double what the last house we bought.
But still historically low.
But still historically low. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, I bought my first house right after the housing crash in 2008. My interest rate was 7%.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I was single, which is like, that's great. I can live in this house.
Yeah.
No, that's funny. I don't remember what our first, even our first house when we bought it was like 4.5%. That would have been like almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
17 or 18 years ago.
That's crazy.
All right, where are you going, Chris? What's next?
So,
So with all that,
yeah, that's been
I think
it's me.
I think it's important, and I'll cut some of that down, for sadness. But I think it's really, for one, you and I, or the three of us, haven't gotten together in a while to be able to talk. So it's good to know that's what's going on in your life. Friendship is it's not complicated, but it is hard.
Yeah.
But I also think that it's just really helpful. Like, that is real life when you are self-employed, no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of what you're talking about is even if you're not self-employed, but it adds a whole nother layer, especially when you're in a unique business like comedy in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah, right. And something for me that just kind of, it's like, I don't know how stable this is. Like, it just kind of, so my stability or my confidence isn't in TikTok or Instagram. So I feel like my gifts are stable in the sense that I do feel like I have things to offer people that I can be paid for. But the channels don't, you're like, how stable is this channel? I don't know. Instagram just seems to kind of, and TikTok for that matter too, just ebb and flow outside of any of my control, seemingly. So
yeah,
it just feels precarious. It feels like a precarious place to be. And so it is. So I'm trying to, like, as far as business wise, get like, my email list up, things where I can control. I know that my people are going to see this or not be, limited by an algorithm. And so there are some strategies and some things that I'm working on to grow. But yeah, those things are just slow. So what else do you want to know about? Yeah, I mean, I'm in a dip right now, I guess is what I would say too. On top of all this house stuff, it's like Instagram is definitely less than what it was.
Summertime.
Yeah, honestly, I feel okay about it because I do also feel like I haven't been putting as much focus on posting videos, and I think there's some things I can do to kind of put a little more effort into that and make that better.
So what's next? I mean, what do you want to do? New character, live shows, new merch? What are you thinking?
Yeah, so live shows definitely. I would like to do a new character. I would like to start a broadcast.
So really, just all the ideas I just came up with is what you're saying. Okay, maybe
it's all of the above. Broadcast channel is a thing on Instagram that I'm interested in, where it's basically it's almost as like texting, but like you can communicate with a smaller group of people that subscribe to your broadcast channel. Basically, it's just a way to interact with people more directly.
Yeah, cool.
And then there's a lot of people that are doing that.
Children especially, be able to talk to children.
Yeah, exactly. Really be able to.
Whoa. That's a red flag right there.
Got you, Chris. It was a test.
No.
Chris wants to talk to your child.
I don't even want to.
He's sick of all the attention Miranda sings is getting.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man. Oh, look who's up on pop culture references.
Yeah, Gary's been paying attention. He knew about the cocaine thing in the White House. I barely knew about that.
Oh yeah.
I questioned about it while you were there.
Yeah,
just in the area.
Gary's like, that's weird. They found cocaine in the White House. Chris is in Washington, D.C.
That's an interesting coincidence.
Interesting.
So I'd like to introduce a new character. I would like to.
Do you have any new characters in mind?
I don't. I have little inklings, little samplings.
Okay, let's workshop a couple. Let's just throw out some ideas, Adam.
I would love it.
Maybe
I've always been I mean, I guess it's like Pastor Bobby, but maybe it'll get us going. I always liked your lady church worker.
Oh yeah, yeah. Which is very close to Pastor Bobby, which is
It is very
more of an
close, but
effeminate.
it is so funny. I really like her.
Isn't that cute? Oh,
What else? You've had
doing so good.
Taylor Swift concert.
Do what? When Pastor Bobby got up there and he said that message, I felt like I was looking at Jesus himself. I mean, it was speaking directly to me. And my goodness, it just was exactly what I needed, Pastor. Thank you.
What was it that he said that you liked so much?
It was the part where I kind of forgot what you said exactly, the words, but I just know I felt a certain way. And you know, that's what they say. No one remembers what you say, but they remember how you made them feel. Amen. It's just Pastor Bobby, basically.
I know.
well, maybe you just need to flip Pastor Bobby to Trish.
Pam, his wife, Pam, talked about that.
Yeah.
I really want to do somebody with a ponytail. And I don't
We've
know.
heard that. I'd like to hear more about that
Like
character.
a fitness instructor.
I've talked about, or thought about like yoga guy, like a yoga instructor, like a new agey kind of guy. I don't have a voice for that yet, but I feel like
Hey, I wonder if he could
like I haven't just dedicated myself to just like, let's just work on a character. And that's, I just haven't done that yet, but
one character I think would like an idea of a character that'd be funny. We were talking about this on a podcast a while ago about how it's too hard to follow health trends because they just are ever changing.
Yeah.
And so it's like, and I even said to you guys, like one day they're going to be like, too much water for your diet is bad.
Yeah.
Like actually they do say that. I would like to see that person or someone who just has like, you don't do a lot of health food stuff, like a new health trend.
Health guy.
You just anybody that's new agey, that's into health, that's into fitness, that you can tackle a litany of subjects from the latest diet to the latest stretching routine.
Yeah. That's fun. Stretching.
Proper ways to walk.
Yeah. It usually starts with a voice for me. So I think I probably need to just lock myself in a room, and honestly, I need to get a wig too. That would help. And once I put the wig on, the voice will emerge.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In the mannerisms and stuff, I'll just start playing around with the hair a little bit, and something will come to the surface.
I feel like you have an artist type of a character that's very ethereal.
Oh yeah, kind of like that was Josh Merrill, my friend Josh Merrill. He created a character that was just worship pastor, but it was very just like well, how would he talk? I forget how he would talk, but but I could see like a new agey.
Oh yeah, that guy was just kind of like,
hey man,
I can hear it in my head now, but I can't think of
how would he say it? He would say, if he had some good line about the form of your worship follows the function of your praise, or something like that.
That's a great
form and function tie-in.
Well, whatever it is, it needs to be somebody that can be male or female. Nobody really knows.
Oh, I could do like gender non-specific.
Yeah, gender neutral.
Gender neutral.
But you never bring that up. Everyone just wonders.
Yeah. I don't know that I want
Pat. It's Pat. Was very much ahead of their time.
Oh, Pat, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Alex.
Lisa's. I have like a North Dakota.
Who's that?
Okay,
What's that?
Jeez, golly, stop with all the stuff. You want a Coke?
Oh, okay.
Grab
We're
a
off to a great
Coke.
start.
Sit down. Hey, we'll just shoot the breeze.
You're gonna be huge in that state.
Oh yeah, and when there's There's like 100,000 people in that state. So
I think that voice is amazing. I don't understand any of the references that you did.
I'm just saying words that have O's in them.
You don't? It's just
Grab me that Coke. You guys want a Coke? What kind?
Coca-Cola.
Okay, here's a Sprite.
That's funny. People always say that about the South too. That's true of Louisiana, and North Dakota's the North. I'm beginning to think everybody does.
Everybody does it. Calls it a Coke when it's.
Yeah. They're always like, oh, that's a South thing, but you're saying it's a Northern thing.
I don't know. I just remember growing up, my grandma would ask me if I wanted a Coke and then would ask what kind.
Yeah. No, I think, yeah.
You want a Coke? Sure. What kind? Classic? Classic Coke?
There's like so many different. There's Coke Zero. There's
Cherry
Diet
Coke? Yeah, I guess that's
vanilla Coke.
Vanilla Coke, Coke Zero.
Caffeine-free Diet Coke. Yeah. So now it is very confusing.
I mean, yeah, I could do like regional accents or like a New Jersey thing or whatever. I just feel like, I don't know. I'm looking for that intersection of like a lot of different things. Like I feel like Steven has so many good layers to him.
Hey, something you could do right now is an actor that's on strike. You do your whiny voice.
My whiny voice? Yeah.
Like what you did when Jesse said something about he slept in.
Yeah. I don't think that would give me a lot of favor with writers if I was talking about them.
No.
I also don't know the details of what's going on, so I don't know if they're being
I don't either.
unreasonable or not, but
you know,
I do a little character that I used to make fun of one of my friend's wives. But it was an over exaggeration, but it was like, I don't want to go.
That's also the joke you do with your children.
Yeah, just any kind of like whininess
or like little kids.
I want a bigger house. So I'm making fun of myself on that one.
All right, so past some new characters. Now that we've thrown some real winners at you.
There's some lot of sparks there.
Yeah, I think we solved your problem.
Yeah. Now it's just overwhelming which one to choose.
Yeah. But I am excited about live show coming up in September.
Breaking news here on the podcast. Chris Munch will be performing live on September 24th at the Looney Bin Comedy Club in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He will be performing with his characters.
That's right. I've done stand-up.
Steven. You've done stand-up.
Stand-up a lot around here, but I've not really done the characters much. I've done the characters a couple times to mixed success. But
those were like corporate gigs, right?
Yeah, corporate things, and it was just kind of a bad setup. So this is the first time I'm really doing it where I'm inviting people who know who I am and know the characters and gonna do. I mean, should we talk about the format or should we just let it simmer for a bit? I mean, we're talking about.
Well, I would say we can talk about the format that we've been talking about because this is definitely a working it out thing in the sense that like we're seeing if this concept works.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we're talking about having Adam open up the show with some traditional stand-up comedy.
Ooh, he's very good.
And then kind of treating each character like another performer or another comedian coming. So basically Adam would then introduce whatever the order would be, Pastor Bobby, and then he would come out and do like a little 10-minute set. And
he's got a word.
He's got a word, powerful word. Amen. You know, and I hadn't even thought about it until I just took this stage. So I grasped this microphone. But this is a word in season for someone here. I don't know who it's for, but anyway. Sorry. Then he would do his thing, and then Adam would come back up.
Come back up.
Do a little bit.
We talked about maybe do it. Yeah, or just
Give me time to change.
Give me time to change, and then bring out MLM Chad.
Yeah, which I haven't figured out how I'm going to do the makeup on that. I might just have to not do the makeup and a goatee.
Oh yeah,
we'll see.
Oh yeah. It may be like we've got we're really excited because just short break from the comedy show. we actually have an opportunity for you to get in on the ground
Yeah, yeah, that's good.
of an exploding
Yes,
organization.
yes, the basement.
And so please welcome multi-level marketing investor.
And then I can do a whole presentation for.
Maybe his thing is less about like pitching you and more about just getting. He's motivational.
Yeah, I'm going to pump you up. Okay, you're going to leave here motivated. You're gonna leave here charged up. Okay, ready to take on the universe.
Maybe he makes fun, like he downgrades the comedy.
That's funny.
You can laugh, but where's that going to get?
Yeah, that's good. Oh, we want to giggle. Okay, we want to chuckle. Okay, that might make you feel better for like 30 seconds. All right, but what I'm talking about is lasting growth. Okay.
That's good. That's really funny.
We're talking generational wealth. Okay.
We're talking generational.
We're talking
happiness.
about like taking your kid into the Gap and buying whatever the heck you want. Okay. That's funny.
We're talking about, what is it? We're talking about going to Hobby Lobby and not using the 40% off coupon. Okay, because you don't need it.
Oh my god, that's awesome. Yeah. So
okay,
and then obviously he would leave and then transition to Steven at some point, and Steven would come out and try to figure out a way to tactfully do Steven and not make it awkward. I mean, it needs to be awkward, but not make it like
we talked about maybe him giving dating advice.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just maybe Adam is interviewing Steven.
Oh man.
Just bring him out that way.
That's not a bad idea.
I feel like he needs to interact with the audience.
Oh yeah.
And that's what
if there's any couples,
so to me that's where I would want to go with it, is to go like even to get off the stage and get down into the audience and invade people's personal space. I feel like that's where he really shines, is when he can get you feeling uncomfortable.
Would you ever be like, if there's a couple and they're just like, if it ever doesn't work out, then...
Oh, totally. Yeah. I do that all the time on Cameo. There's a nice safe barrier there.
Right.
So I just want to be careful with how I would do some of that stuff. But, if it doesn't work out,
guys, it sounds really great.
Just throwing it out there.
And then you think you'll end with, I think you should end with, I was about to say Ricky Rhodes. I think you should end with, because he does music. I think he should be the last. Yeah. It's I think I've told this before. Go ahead.
Speaking of music, that is actually something else that I think music is an untapped resource. Like, I think Pastor Bobby should like sing a song at some, maybe not in, like live would be great. That's how I've done it several times live, where I've sung "Thank You for Giving to the Lord" to close out my my Pastor Bobby set, which is really super fun. But like, and like Steven sings some too. Like, I could incorporate music into any of the characters, honestly. If I need a way to close it out. But I see what you're saying though, like closing with Bobby, what the heck? Ricky Rhodes. Gosh, I just totally blanked on his name.
Yeah.
So anyway,
that's another revenue stream, Chris. Get a few tracks out there that people can stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
you'll be making an extra $2-3 a year.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of
checks. Fun
opportunities, I think, to create some more revenue streams. But honestly, like live is what I miss. I want to do more live stuff.
Yeah. So we're gonna do this show, and then is the idea to see like, does this work?
Yeah.
Can I take this out on the road?
Yeah.
Is that kind of your
definitely
thinking? I'm just trying to decide what I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing for the rest of the calendar year. So that's why I'm asking that question.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I mean, definitely I want to I want to show that I can travel with. This is kind of just like first step in testing out how this kind of works for people.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And then I think if I was like doing like an hour and a half long show or something that I travel and maybe do at churches and things like that, I would want to figure out a way to kind of incorporate in my story a little bit more. And maybe it's as simple as just like I come out at the end or something and do a little bit more like just like more storytelling, like tell a story. But if we're already kind of if we've already kind of conditioned the audience into feeling like, okay, new people keep coming out every so often, maybe they would accept me as just the next kind of character.
Oh, I totally
Yeah.
think.
I thought you were going to open for Adam, and then Adam is introducing.
Then Adam introduces.
So you're really opening for yourself.
Yeah, in some ways, I could do that. I don't know that I want to.
Do your stand up.
Do stand up off the top.
Open for Adam, who's now a feature comic.
Yeah.
And then.
Yeah.
Wait, okay. So it would go headliner, feature, and then opener?
Mm-hmm.
Is that how it goes?
Yeah.
It goes opener, feature, headliner. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. You can be the opener, and the headliner
together.
You be the opener, get the crowd going.
Yeah.
So that my set's great. And then, yeah. So I'm really excited. I've been wanting you to do this for a long time, and it feels like we finally. I think we were in an airport or whatever, and you were like, "What if we did it like this?"
Yeah, my friend Byron Trimble actually reached out and was like, "Hey, I had just thought of the format for it." He was like, "You should. You should. This might be just something to try." And I was like, "Oh, that's a great idea." So,
yeah. So, So if you want to come to the show, come.
Yeah.
And you can go to looneymancomedy.com or tulsa.looneymancomedy.com and just look up you'll see on the calendar. You can get tickets to the show. And I don't think they're going to be, I can't remember exactly what they are, but they're not super expensive. And if we have enough, we'll do a second. If we sell it out, we'll do a second show.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's great.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say before I just talk about our sponsor real quick?
No, I think that's good. I'm excited. God's been so good to me, and so yeah, we're doing well.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. So what are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at because sometimes I feel like when I get honest, I just sound ungrateful, or I sound like I'm not appreciative or whatever. I don't want to come across that way. And I like even just talking about the house and all this kind of stuff. God's been so good to us. We like the house we have right now is great. I don't want to make it sound like, I just always want to. I don't ever want to come across like I'm not thankful, but I'm also feeling like wanting to progress and risk and steps forward. And so anyway.
I think that I'll cut it down for one. And I think that it's nice to be real for people to just understand that it's not just all super fun.
Yeah. It is funny. I get comments like people will talk to, like, I forget, there was somebody who said something about me or whatever, and someone referenced me in a comment by saying like how famous I am or something like that. And it's just so funny to me. Like people's perception is that like I'm a super famous actor, comedian. It's like, that's not really the case. Like, I don't know. I think people just assume since, I don't know, I show up on their feed a lot. I have no idea. I don't know why they think.
Right.
I've seen that several times.
That's why every time I'm with you and someone stops you, I always bust out laughing. It doesn't have to do with the fact that I don't think it's cool that people recognize you. It's just that like you and I have been together, all three of us have been together in some of the most, I don't know, I mean, you're not famous to me.
No, because I'm not famous.
This is even like, I don't know. This whole thing is just so funny to me.
Yeah,
so.
it is. It's a weird world.
All right. Well, thanks for listening to the pod. We hope you enjoyed it. Hey, shout out to our two sponsors, of course, Northern Creative. That's Gary's company, video production, does all of our animation. Give them a look at northern.work. You can check out the portfolio there, or you can follow them on Instagram at northern.work. And then, of course, Looney Bin Comedy Club in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Big shout out to our pals Mason and John, who own the club and have a great rest of the year coming up. We've got some awesome headliners, including we've got Chris Munch headlining on September 24th. He'll be doing his characters, and you can check those out at Looney Bin Comedy. Sorry.
Pause for drink.
You can check those out at Looney Bin Comedy, looneybincomedy.com. You can get tickets there. And you can also check out all the other shows that we've got as well. I know some of the big comics that are coming through. I'm not going to talk about them yet, but they're going to be great shows. Don't want to talk about too much. If you want to follow me online at heyadambush on all the socials, and Chris is at Chris Munch Comedy. You can follow us. And of course, if you want to send us a comment, riskitpod@gmail.com. That's an email, not a comment. Or you can subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, or wherever you listen to our podcast. And maybe we'll read it on the air. Mm-hmm. We appreciate it. And we love you.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
See ya.